All right, you guys, I want to share something that I came across this morning. It's just about 2 minutes, so check this out.
He told the guy, he said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know how many of y'all got asthma here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath, SOB, shortness of breath, you wheezing. The only thing you're trying to do is get some air. You don't care about no basketball game. You don't care what's on TV. You don't care about nobody calling you. You don't care about a party. The only thing you care about when you're trying to breathe is to get some fresh air. That's it. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you've got to be willing to give up sleep. You got to be willing to work off for 3 hours of sleep, 2 hours. If you really want to be successful, some days you're going to have to stay up 3 days in a row. Because if you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity to be successful. That's how bad you got to want. You got to go days without, listen to me, you got to want to be successful so bad that you forget to eat. I got to breathe it, I got to eat it, I got to use it. And until you get there, you'll never be successful in life. So once you get done.
All right, guys. I hope you guys hear that. I heard this audio this morning, and I thought, gosh, this is so perfect, right? Because how many times, here we are, December, the last month of 2014, and what's going to happen in about a month from now is everyone's going to get really present to what they want, how they want to succeed for 2015. And I just thought this was going to be so perfect to share with you guys. I know it's kind of cheesy, but, I love these audios in the morning. It really gets me inspired. It really gets me motivated. I have to confess, this morning I did not feel like working out. It's raining in Los Angeles. And, whenever it rains in L.A., it's like the world stops. We lost electricity. I mean, there's accidents everywhere. And, one of the things I know, and we're going to cover about today, that I've been studying a lot about, is how do you get yourself to do things you really don't feel like doing. And so this is one of the ways that I do it. I share that with you guys, is little morning ritual as I'm going to the gym or as I'm warming up. I always listen to something that's inspiring, those quotes that get me all pumped up. And if I can't find anything, the soundtrack of Rocky IV always does it for me. So anyhow, I thought I would share that with you guys really quick, because this month series is all about goal setting. And more importantly than just goal settings, I think all of us at some point of our lives, we establish our goals. But it's really about goal setting and the strategy that has to be in place in order to achieve them. So here's what we're going to do today. You want to grab a piece of paper and a pencil. I know sometimes we just, I don't really stress the fact that you need one, but today you really, really need to have one, okay? Because here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about New Year resolutions are right around the corner, right? And what inspired me to do this call series was that I saw something on Facebook the other day. Somebody wrote, this is the last month of 2015, this is the last chapter of 2014. Make it the perfect chapter. And now, one of the things I now know through hardships and ups and downs for the last 2 years is that there's no such thing as perfection, really. Because even whatever you think is perfect, there's always someone that can come in and make it better, right? And life, as a whole, nothing is perfect. And who's telling you is somebody who really thought that she had a quote-unquote perfect life. Come to find out that there's no such thing as perfection, right? And it's kind of relieving, actually, if you kind of think about it. Anyhow, when I read this on her Facebook wall, it kind of got me inspired, because I was like, you know what, I never thought about that. But it is the last month of 2014. And what I replaced that in my mind with was, it's the last month of 2014, let's make it count. So one of the things I started thinking about was, okay, January, everyone's going to start bringing resolutions to the forefront of their attention. They're really going to start thinking about, what do I want? How do I want it? What do I want to achieve? All this stuff. And last year, we did a whole call series on the Core 4. and how to start bringing balance into your life. If you haven't, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go on to entrepreneurintelligence.com, and you'll see all the call series there, okay? But one of the things I wanted to invite you to start doing is, why wait till January 1st to start thinking about what you want? Why not wait now, right? And so here's what I want you to do. Number one, we got to start thinking about, why do we even do resolutions? Why is it that in January 1st, everybody all of a sudden gets inspired to do resolutions? And here's the thing, what I know, at least from my personal experience, is that not a lot of thought goes into it normally. It's like December 31st, people say Happy New Year, and then the next day they wake up after a lot of partying, and then all of a sudden someone turns to you and goes, what is your New Year resolution? And you're like, this year, let me think. And then people say things like, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to quit smoking, I'm going to make more money. Those are the top three, right? In our business, it would be like, I'm going to get to the next level, I'm going to increase my sales, whatever the case may be. But so many times we do it like in the cup, like, oh, yeah, this is what I want. And I started to think about this. One of my coaches several years ago actually gave me a homework assignment. Around December 20th, she's all into the astrological stuff. I guess it was this really strong moon, whatever that means. But the point is, she told me, she goes, on December 20th or 21st, one of those two, was the longest night of the year. She said, sit down and write down everything you want. Get present and just meditate. And I actually did I didn't do lists. I actually did paragraphs for my body, my community, my family, etc., relationships and stuff like that. So I invite you to let's start focusing now and start being conscious of what it is that we want come the new year. So why is it that everybody gets all inspired about the new year? Really, I think it's because the calendar, as silly as it may sound, because all it is a calendar, right? It means nothing other than what culturally we've interpreted to be, and that is, it's a new year, a new beginning. And it's almost like we feel like we get this fresh start, right? Like, oh, my God, I get this whole fresh start to do something new. And, this year I have an opportunity to start from nothing all over. I'm going to do something. I'm going to have wins. I'm going to have victory. I'm going to have success, etc. And so, like, the new year, almost like as if it gives us this underlying, unheard of permission. Because the reality is you can do that every year. In different cultures, January 1st is not their new year. The Persian calendar is on a whole different calendar, et cetera. But for us here in the United States, January 1st is that for us. Now, what my goal is for us, and I include myself in this, is to start thinking now and start being mindful and start being conscious of what it is that we want, so that when the new year comes and everyone says, what are your New Year resolutions? You are so crystal clear on what it is that you want, and it's not like under your breath, like, I think this year, and there's no power around that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about, for this next call series, the next 4 weeks, today is going to be all about how to set your goals and how to bring strategy, and then we're going to be building on every single week. So here's one of the things, before we start setting goals. One of the things I have to, and I feel like it's my responsibility to remind each and every one of us, is that what really makes us happy, like really, what really makes us happy, it's not getting things. I know it might be a shock to you, but getting more shoes or getting more purses or getting that car or getting that house or getting that pin or getting that recognition, those things do not make you happy. They give you temporary satisfaction, absolutely. They bring you thrill, absolutely. There's excitement in your life for that moment, absolutely. When you get that car and you get into that car and you have that new car smell for a week or a month or 2 months or 3 months, yes, absolutely. But if you really want to experience happiness, and actually my brother brought this to my attention a couple of weeks ago, and that is human beings must feel like they're progressing. Human beings must feel like they're growing. And if you think about why we set goals, let's say, for example, your goal is, sorry, I'm drinking my shit. Your goal is to get to the next level, okay? So here you are, you're thinking, okay, extravaganza 2015, and you start visualizing yourself getting up on stage, getting that recognition, or, let's say you're in school and you're thinking about walking that stage, getting that diploma, or whatever the case may be, right? Whatever your goal is, and you have it out there somewhere, like 5, 6 months from now, right? All of a sudden, you're going for it. What is exciting about setting those goals is not, yes, it is going to be exciting getting that achievement, getting that diploma, getting that medal, getting that pin, getting that recognition. Absolutely. I'm not taking that away from you. But really, if you think about it, what really excites you and what really brings happiness to your life, what really brings you energy, what really gives you a sense of feeling alive is the everyday progress. It's that every single day you're getting closer to that goal. And it is the journey. As Jerry Satanovich, as many of you guys know, she's an amazing businesswoman. As she says, it is the journey. Her mentor, and Jim Rohn, said the same thing. Jim Rohn's mentor said to him, set a goal to become a millionaire, not for the money. And Jim Rohn thought, that's interesting. And he said, but for who it's going to make of you to achieve it. In other words, how you're going to grow, how you as a human being are going to progress. If you think about it, anytime, I don't know if any of you guys have ever felt a little depression or a little sadness or a little lethargic. I know I have, I am not at all embarrassed to tell you there were points in my life where I was like feeling lonely and I was feeling not so good and a little depressed and all that stuff. And if I think about the reason why, it's because I wasn't progressing. I wasn't growing. I was like stale, right? There's no fun in that. But think about any time you feel like there's a day that you're like, oh my gosh, and or you have right now today I had this amazing workout. My entire tops, all 3 of them, because I wear all kinds of stuff, it was drenched. I felt so good at the end of that workout. Why? Because I know that I achieved something. I felt like I'm growing. I felt like I'm progressing. Versus the times that I go to the gym and I pretend to work out, or maybe I'm on the treadmill, kind of half doing it and half not doing it and not giving it my all. Those days, it's like I leave the gym feeling all right. But the days that I leave the gym, the days I leave those fit camps, the days that I leave those moments or those meetings or those days or whatever, where you're in euphoria, you've got all this adrenaline, it's because you know that you grew, that you're progressing. So although goals are important, just remember, it is setting the goals that, yes, that's important, but it is the process. It is the journey that is really going to make you feel alive and give you that sense of energy every single day. The car can only make you feel good for as long as you focus on it. But after 5, 6 months, the smell goes away, and all of a sudden you become used to driving this vehicle. It no longer brings you joy. Maybe it does, but not like the first couple of weeks, okay? I think you get the point. So I really wanted to bring that to your attention, because one of the things that I know most of us, I know for myself I do, a lot of the times we accomplish a goal, and then it's like, oh, is that all? It's like, I remember when I've accomplished big goals in my life, I felt like the clouds should have parted and the sky should have brought down some light. I felt like, I don't know, I felt like maybe it was going to be like this amazing music was going to come down and everything was going to be perfect and I was going to be so happy. And I was for a whole 5, 6 days or something like that. And then afterwards it was like, now what? See, because what happens is I didn't set a new goal. I didn't set a new thing to go after. So that progress, when they completed the goal, the progress stopped because I didn't set a new goal. Okay, so we'll talk about that later. But I just want to get you present to that so that as you're going after your goals, and your goals are not happening yesterday, or you're not achieving your goals right away, focus on the progress. Focus on how you're feeling about getting closer to those goals, okay? So let's go down into the steps. What is it going to take not only to bring forward some amazing New Year resolutions, but some resolutions that really resolve something, because you guys, I don't know if you know the definition of resolution is really to resolve something. That is meaning that you cut off all other options. So, for example, if your resolution is to no longer smoke, you're cutting off the option of smoking, right? That's really what resolve really means. And that's really what it's going to take to have lasting change, okay? So let's go down the 3 steps. Number 1, Okay? You've got to have a vision. Now, why am I not saying goals? Although it is almost the same thing, right? But you've got to have a vision, meaning that, yes, you want to have a goal, but I really want to encourage you to start thinking about what you truly, really, really want. And to think about your vision from a point of what you want to create rather than what you don't want to do, what you want to lose, what you don't. You know what I mean? Like, for example, you could say, like, I want to lose 10 pounds. That's not really that exciting, right? Like, losing 10 pounds, it doesn't really excite you. But what if you were to start having a vision around what that would look like, how that would feel, how that would make you be in the world, how you would walk, how you would talk, how you would strut your stuff, right? So rather than saying I'm going to lose 10 pounds, why not say, my New Year resolution is going to be the sexiest version of me. I have these pairs of jeans that like are sitting in my closet, and like every time I work out, I visualize myself in those black jeans. So it's a lot more exciting for me to think about my body being fit and strong than me thinking I'm going to lose 5-10 pounds. Okay, so when you think about your vision, you want to think about what you really, really want, rather than what you're going to give up, rather than what you're not going to do, rather than saying I'm going to give up sugar. Rephrase that in a way that is going to fulfill you, something that's going to create something, rather than saying, this year I'm going to stop being lazy. That's so not empowering. Think of ways that you're going to be able to say something or put it in a vision, in a form of a vision that's going to excite you. In other words, you want to have this vision, this goal of yours, to be something that will pull you towards that, and not something you've got to push yourself to. See, so many times we think about the goals that we should want, the goals that we think we ought to have, the goals that we think everybody around us wants for us, like what we should do. Well, this is what I really think I ought to do, or what I ought to want. See, that is like you're going to be pushing yourself towards them. But when you think about something that really excites you, it will be something that pulls you towards it. Something that becomes so attractive to you, something you desire so much that you get so excited. Now, here's something I'm going to invite you guys to do. If you're around a system, or a group of people, or peers that think just like you, I invite you to put together like a little workshop or something like that, or at your next event, okay, or at your next mastermind, your next focus group, whatever you've got going on, get around the environment and people that have the same vision, like life goals as you do. They don't have to be the same, but, that people that want to, that like-minded people, not people that, if you're all positive and everybody around you is negative, not the type of people you want to set your goals with, okay? But one of the reasons why I'm saying this, or next time you go to a big event, take that momentum, because you're in such a peak state that the thoughts that are in your mind are way more empowering than if you're setting goals in front of the television with a beer next to you and you're watching football and you're like, let me think, what are my New Year goals going to be? Okay, that's not going to, it's not going to serve you as much as if you're around people and you're in a peak state and you've got this energy and you've got this enthusiasm, and then you start, maybe you've got some powerful music, which is why I put on the little, that little thing in the beginning of the call, is because if you've got to want it that enough, as if like the oxygen that you breathe. When you want something that bad, I'm telling you, nothing can stand in your way. Which brings me to number 2. You've got to have enough reasons. So write that down. Number 2, enough reasons. Now, why is this important, okay? You've got to have enough reasons to keep you going, to push yourself through the challenges that are going to come up. Because as positive as you want to be, like, look, perfect example, okay? I'm coming back from the gym. There's all the lights are blinking because all the power here and where I live went out. So guess what? I could have very easily been like, oh, well, I can't get on this call, because, all my notes are on my computer and, but guess what? I was like, no, how can I do this? Oh, my laptop, So there's so many, I found a way, because my vision to contribute to you guys is bigger than the obstacles that are in front of me. My reasons to be here, to be of service to you, to fulfill on my personal passion to give back to the world is bigger than losing electricity. And, thank God we've got all these appliances. I turned on my computer. I was like, okay, it's to my phone. Somehow, some way, I'm going to get the note. And then lucky enough, a couple minutes before the call, the electricity came back on. Okay? But what I'm trying to say is that isn't that how life works normally? You've got this vision and you've got this, these goals, and then life happens and things start coming in front of you. And now here's the thing. If that goal is not really your goal, if that goal is really not something you really, really want, it's like what you think people want, what you think what your parents want for you, or what your kids want for you, or what society wants for you, and you think, well, I really ought to want this, but you really don't want it. The moment an obstacle comes in your way, you will use that as a reason to not move forward. Look, I am not afraid to tell you there were so many goals on my list that were not mine, but they were like how I was raised. I thought those were the things that I should want. I thought those were the things that I ought to have. But the reality is, look, I'm not shy. My parents and many of you guys know have this amazing, beautiful home. Right now, this moment in my life, I don't desire that. That is not my goal. That is not my vision. Maybe when I've got kids and I've got grandkids, I would want that. But right now, me living by myself, that's not my goal. And so many times I would say like, oh, yeah, I want a big house and a Bentley, white, convertible. But the reality was those were not really my wants. They were not my desires. They were not my must. They were I think I should have that. But they really weren't something that I really, really, really wanted. Versus other things in my life, when I really wanted it, I would find a way. So that's a good measurement for you. Anytime you find yourself letting yourself off the hook, go back and revisit it. If it's something that you really, really want, maybe you don't have enough passion or emotion behind it, and that's why you're willing to give up. But if it's something that, something comes up and you want to give up because it's really not something you want, well, then you've got to be honest with yourself and really start being true to you and what is it that you really want, okay? So, in other words, you've got to have enough reason, okay? And we did this a couple of weeks ago on the call of the missile so that when any time the winds or something blows, you readjust. Every time you fall off track, you get back on track. It's like nothing is going to stop you. For those athletes on the phone, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Just because the other team, is leading doesn't mean you're going to give up. If you have enough desire to win the game, you huddle up, you readjust, you re-strategize, and you go out there and you adjust to win, right? So number 2 is enough reasons. Now, number 3, we've already covered this, but it's good to review, and that is you've got to review it every day. You've got to review what you want every single day and put feeling behind it. Okay, put some feeling behind what you really, really want. Because if you think about a time that you wanted something so bad that you couldn't stop thinking about it, you didn't know how you were going to get it, you really didn't have a clue, you really didn't have, but you really were focused on it. You couldn't stop thinking about it, and then all of a sudden you noticed things you didn't notice before. All of a sudden there was so much intensity, like this magic things would start happening. The right people were coming to your life, the right situations, things that you needed. It was almost like magic. Because see, here's the thing. When you tell your brain what's important to you, your brain becomes synthesized. Now, we already covered this on the neuroscience call series. Again, if you guys go on to entrepreneurintelligence.com, it's there. You want to review it because what happens in the brain is that the moment you tell your brain, this is important to me, right? Like, let's say, you're setting a goal for extravaganza, and you're like, all right, this is how many months I have, and you're focused on the next level, getting your life to the next level, your body, your spirituality, your relationships, whatever. And every single day you're making progress, you're going to have so much energy, it's ridiculous. You're going to have so much passion. You're going to feel so alive, right? And you've literally told your brain, this is important to me. So your brain, there's a part in your brain that literally determines what to focus on. Otherwise, if you had to focus on everything, you would go crazy, okay? So this is a little part of your brain that actually tells your brain this is what you need to focus on. And it will notice things you didn't notice before. You all of a sudden will realize, because your brain will say, okay, this is part of our world now. Notice it. You know, for example, you buy a car, let's say you buy a red Toyota, and all of a sudden, everybody has a red Toyota. Listen, the cars were always there. It's just that you never noticed them. But now that you have one, it's part of your world. Therefore, it picks it up. You know, same thing with your life, same thing with your goals. All of a sudden, you will notice things you didn't notice before. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I have like 2 more minutes on the call. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you guys next week's assignment, okay? I really hope you have a piece of paper and a pencil. I want you to write the following. I want you to write down the 3 pillars of progress. 3 pillars of progress. And you're going to make 3 pillars, okay, like one, left to right, so 3 pillars. And you're going to write them down. You're going to go like this, from the right to left. We're going to work backwards, okay? From the right pillar, I want you to put there laser vision, okay? So here's the thing. Number 1, you got to have a laser vision. Yes, it's important, like I said, number 1, to have your vision and you want to create, but you've got to have a laser vision where you focus on it so much that like a horse has those blinders on, you don't notice other things. And if you notice them, you immediately readjust like a missile. Boom, laser focus, okay? Number 1, laser vision. In the middle pillar, you need to put their strategy, okay? Strategy. Under strategy, you need to write down tools and strategy and coaching, okay? So tools, strategy, and coaching. On the third pillar, on the left side, you need to put massive action. Massive action. So here's the thing, and this is from Anthony Robbins' seminar, The Ultimate Power You or something like that. Anyhow, I saw my book the other day. I was reviewing my notes, and I ran across it, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is so true. Anytime you have accomplished anything with velocity, meaning that it doesn't take you years to accomplish it, okay? I don't mean a day, but it could be a year that you accomplish it. That's some velocity, right? Anytime you accomplish something with velocity, those 3 things are in place. Anytime you don't accomplish something, 1 or more are missing. For example, when you have laser focus, but maybe you know exactly what you want, and all you do is obsess about this thing that you want, right? You think about it, you meditate, you visualize it on your dream board, you visit it before you go to sleep, you visit it when you wake up. I mean, that is what you want. And you've got total massive action. You're out there working every day, you're hustling it, you're doing the things that you know you need to do or that you think you should be doing, but your strategy is off. You don't have the right tools in place, you don't have the right strategy, and you don't have coaching. So guess what? Now you're not going to accomplish that goal with velocity but if you had that, now you could poof like laser focus, get those results. On the contrary, let's say some of us, I know I've had moments in my life where I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't have a strategy really, but I was working like crazy, like I was keeping myself busy, like I was doing things, but I was not being productive because I didn't have a strategy and I didn't even really know what I wanted. I thought I knew what I wanted, but no, not really. I didn't have a date. I wasn't laser focused. I was like, well, I want to build this business. Well, I want to get in shape, but I wasn't like, I want to build my business and I want to build it by this. I wasn't specific. I wasn't creating. I think you know what I mean. So what I'm going to invite you to do this next week, and we're going to build on that for next week. Next week, I want you to start thinking, which of the 3 are you missing? Which of those 3 do you feel that you need to go to work on? Now, I had a call with my CAB team members, and there was a lot of us that we were like, well, we could really work on all 3 of them, right? We could get better about being laser focused, about exactly what it is that we want. We definitely could get better about having a better, more precise strategy, and we could definitely do better on the massive action. Some of you guys might have the massive action, might have the strategy, but you're not really clear on what you want. So whatever the case may be, start noticing, and I really invite you to put some thought into this. Put some thought into which of the 3 pillars are you missing, or which of the 3 pillars do you need to go to work on for next week. So it is exactly 9:31. Sorry, you guys, I took a minute too long. Let me finish the call, and I'm going to open up the line to see if anybody has any questions or any comments. Hold on a second really quick.